Welcome back to another video, guys. This is the video everyone has been asking for, and that is how much the Cedar Hollow, my luxury 450 square foot tiny home, costs to build. Before we get into it, I do have to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, as it took me a ton of time to go through all my bank statements, all my credit card statements, itemize everything out, and break it into categories for this video. And you're gonna wanna stay tuned to the end of the video where I throw in an added bonus on how much this home has made in the first 3 months operating full-time as a short-term rental. And I've also had hundreds of you reaching out asking, are you selling the Cedar Hollow's construction plans? The answer is yes, and you have to stay tuned towards the middle of this video to get a 60% off discount code on the plans for the first 100 of you that purchase the construction plans. Jumping right into it, the first expense for the build was making the 600-foot long driveway and the parking pad here, and that cost $4,119.55. Now I did this in a few stages where I did a couple lifts of rock, where I did probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches of this 3/4 inch chip rock that you see here, and then at the very end of construction I came back over with another 2-inch lift once the driveway had all settled down. That cost also includes chainsaw blades for dropping all the trees that were in the way, mini excavator rentals for pulling all the stumps out, regrading the driveway, and also bobcat rentals for actually laying all the mass amounts of rock throughout here. So you can see the driveway is quite long, and it did take a total of 45 yards of rock to gravel everything here. Now that I could actually get back to where the home's going to be built, we could start in on the post and pier foundation, and that cost $3,866.32. Both the home and the deck are supported by this post and pier foundation, so you essentially have a pier that goes 3-4 feet into the ground, an anchor, and then a post that supports everything on top of it. So that cost also includes the dingo rental that we use to dig the holes down into the ground, the sonotube, the concrete, and then the anchors themselves. With the foundation done, we could dive into the framing. So the framing for the Cedar Hollow is a post and pier foundation. So we have 3 beams that run underneath the home, and all the floor joists that are 2x12 sit on top of that. There's 2x6s in the walls and 2x10s making up the ceiling pitch here. That cost $8,380.32. Framing out this home by myself was definitely a little bit tricky. These back walls are 12 foot tall, and I built this back wall in one solid piece, fully sheathed it on the ground, and then used 2x4s and wall jacks to slowly lift up the back wall. Sorry, Mom. It was a very sketchy day, but we got it up and it's here and it looks great. The siding cost $4,869.31, and this is actually a 4x8 foot hardy board flat panel, so it doesn't look like it has that wood grain to it. And we went with board and batten, so these are also more hardy board products, so it's almost like a concrete board composite that I nailed to the whole side of the framing after we vapor barrier that, which that's also baked into the price. So that price also includes this cedar skirting that goes all the way around the home. Essentially what I did was I just framed down posts, put hardy board panels, and then I bought these 3-inch decking boards that go all the way around. I did this to help keep the climate in the crawl space above freezing, so that when we do get our few days where the property freezes out here, we don't have pipes bursting underneath the home. If this doesn't get your like, I don't know what will. So I'm underneath the Cedar Hollow right now, and this is the waste system, and it costs $671.71. And the way it works is I have all of my waste lines tie into this ejector pit right here. That's the shower, toilet, sinks, everything drains into this pit, and once the float in there gets high enough, it kicks on a pump and it launches everything out to the Pacific Bins septic field, which I oversized the Pacific Bins septic system so that it could accommodate a second unit like this, so we're not overwhelming the drain field. Next up is my third most expensive item, and that is the doors and windows, and they cost $12,913.76. That includes all the windows and sliding door that you see here, the front door, the 2 closet doors inside, and also the 2 doors to both the bedroom and the bathroom. The roof cost me $2,694.17, and that includes ice and water shield across the entire house. Typically you just do it on the first 6 to 10 feet, but I ended up just doing it on the whole thing in case we had a branch fall and poke through a shingle. I just didn't want to have any sort of water problems. So then I also went with shingles all the way across this whole roof. That price includes 2 of these skylights here. Also includes both of these vent stack booths, which one of them is for the bathroom and the other one is for the kitchen, which that actually surprised me a lot, seeing how cheap this roof came in at. I got a quote to do this whole roof in metal, and it was about $10,000, and I figured if I'm doing this entire build by myself, I might as well learn to roof, and it's worked out great. We made it through a whole Washington winter and all the rainy springtime here, and we are, knock on wood, still waterproof. The crawl space was next at $1,274.08, and that includes this plastic vapor barrier that goes over the exposed earth, so that you're not having vapor go up and slowly rot away at all your floor joists and create mold, and you just have tons of problems down the road. And that also includes all of that solid core foam board that goes around the perimeter, as well as some house wrap for all of those boards that hang down that all the cladding is screwed to. Next up are these guys for $113.34, and those are mouse traps. So I do pest control underneath the whole home. Next up is my plumbing, and that cost $2,930.01. And that number blew me away because it included all of the faucets, so a kitchen faucet, sink faucet, the shower head here, all of the drain lines, all of the PEX water supply lines that supply water here, the hot water heater, my washer dryer, and all the rough into those, both the drain lines and the water supply, which blew my mind because I had paid a couple plumbers to do stuff both at the Pacific Bin before and just fixing miscellaneous things in the past, and it just showed me how much labor is baked into all of these crazy quotes I was getting. Next up is the only scope that I didn't do on this project myself, and that is the electrical wiring of the house. The last thing I wanted to do was to go wire this thing all up and burn it down. So I hired an electrician to come in, and that cost me $12,722.75. That cost includes getting the feeder lines coming off of our 400 amp service out here to the home, wiring this entire home, all the materials for the can lights up here, the LED strip lights in the kitchen. It includes wiring up the breaker for the hot tub, the breaker for the cold plunge chiller, the sauna way out there in the forest, the Tesla charger, and just all those little extra amenities that come with the home. This next item, I blame you guys. When we named the Cedar Hollow this early on in construction, I had to go full on commit and do cedar everything. And these cedar soffits cost me $1,908.85. Just for a 2-foot perimeter going all the way around the home was kind of shocking. It made me even more scared to do the whole ceiling inside the home in cedar, but it looks really cool. That number also includes these vents that you see at the front and the back of the home, and those are ultimately for getting airflow to pass alongside the underside of your roof so you get proper ventilation and you don't get mold if condensation builds up over time. The insulation cost me $2,318.58, and what that includes is R38 batt insulation, so that's those big rolls you see at the store, running in between all the floor joists here and also up in the rafters to insulate both underneath and up top at the roof. And then we have R21 in all the walls here. I also did put rock wool sound dampening insulation in between this wall here that divides the living room from the bedroom and bathroom, as well as the wall that divides the bedroom from the bathroom. Just because in tiny homes, you hear everything, and I'm just imagining someone on their first date here and someone's not wanting to wreak havoc over there in the bathroom because they're afraid it's gonna echo through. Then how I heat and cool this place. I actually went with a Mr. Cool mini split 120 volt head unit. So we have a head unit here and there's a condenser outside the home, and it does a fantastic job at both heating and cooling the home and removing condensation from the home. With tiny homes, when you take showers, it can get humid in here, so it does a really good job keeping this entire place in a comfortable state. On the note of HVAC, that price does also include ventilation fans. So I actually have 2 exhaust fans in the bathroom, one in the main ceiling area and one over the washer dryer area that are able to pull out humid air and just keep air changes happening in the home. And then I also have this little fan right up here, which takes the acclimated air from the living room area and pushes it into the bedroom, which ventilation is huge. So many people fail to do it properly on tiny homes. My next biggest expense was the drywall, and that was $1,803.83, which everyone I talked to said, don't do the drywall yourself. It's gonna look horrible. Like, just hire a professional. But my stubborn self, wanting to do this whole thing myself, gave it a crack, and honestly, it turned out great. I probably had to do a few more coats of mud than what a normal drywaller would have to do, but I'm really proud of how this looks. I won't lie, this wall was very hard and I spent a lot of time getting all of this right. Before we get to my largest expense, I'm excited to be announcing that I am officially selling the Cedar Hollows construction plan. They're on my website. If you go to thepacificbin.com/plans, they're currently listed for $1,350, but the first 100 of you that use code CEDAR60 at checkout, CEDAR60, you'll get 60% off that set of plans. So that knocks it down to just over $500. And this is a full set of structural, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing plans. And I even went through the extra legwork of having 2 foundation designs planned, both a post and pier foundation like what my version of the Cedar Hollow has, but I also had a more traditional footing and stem wall foundation designed for those of you that want to have a little variability in your foundation design. $500 for this set that cost me over $8,000 is well worth it, even if you're just looking to get a little design inspiration and understand how to correctly build a tiny home. There are honestly so many scams out there for tiny homes where you go buy a set of plans for $1,000 and it's just like this crappy floor plan. This set of plans is exactly how I built this real home behind me, and I know it can help you guys out a ton if you're interested in building a tiny home. Also, if you purchase the plans, I'm currently in the process of building this home again exactly for another client here in Washington, walking you through each individual step, super detailed, so you could essentially purchase the construction plans, follow along, and watch all the videos and watch everything come to life. Be sure to go to thepacificbin.com/plans, click on the Cedar Hollow, and at checkout use code CEDAR60 to get 60% off. Even if you guys do pop on the site and enter the code CEDAR60 and all the coupons are sold out, be sure to email me info@thepacificbin.com and I'm sure I can work something out for you. And if you are interested in building this home as a short-term rental, you're gonna wanna stay tuned to the end of the video where I reveal exactly how much this home is making in the first couple months it's been rented, and I think it's gonna surprise you. Next up was the oh so expensive cedar wood ceilings, and these came in at $3,539.96, and that's both here in the living room kitchen area and the bedroom over there. The entire paint budget came in at $2,455.88, and on the entire interior of the home, I used Sherwin-Williams Alabaster White, which so many of you that have stayed here have asked, like, what is that white color? It's the perfect balance. It's not too cool, it's not too warm, and it looks so good with natural light pouring into the home. And then for the color on the outside of the home, I went with Tricorn Black. It's another Sherwin-Williams color, and I go with a flat finish on that. Then for $2,806.85 are these real 3/4 inch birch wood floors, and this is not comfortable to sit. So that includes the real 3/4 inch birch wood flooring, all of the nails that I nailed these in with, and all of the glue that works as the vapor barrier between the subdecking and the actual wood floor itself. The kitchen cost me $12,757, and that's for a full service kitchen here, right? We got the oven, stovetop, microwave, dishwasher, sink, everything you need in a normal kitchen, and I lived here for a few months and it was super comfortable and the space just works really, really well. I have another video, I'll pin it right here, that breaks down everything that goes into this kitchen. It's a super, super detailed breakdown. It has spreadsheets if you wanted to order this kitchen exactly, but I'll link that video right here. The Apple TV, the Apple HomePod, and the TV itself all cost $898.46. The bathroom floors cost $1,146.94, and the only reason I'm laying on them right now is because they're heated floors, and this feels really good actually. But that's also why they cost so much. We have heating coils running all underneath here. There's a thermostat where you can control how hot they are, because who wants to do their thing in the morning with cold feet? This large tile shower costs $3,771.57. So that includes this huge 9-foot tall glass door, all of the cement board that goes directly onto the wood studs here, as well as all the cement that I fill in the joints with, red guarding the entire shower, as well as tiling and grouting this entire shower. All of the furniture in the home cost me $10,070.05, and that includes this Thuma couch here, the dining room table, the bed frame in the bedroom, any bit of furniture that you see in the space. All the shelving in the closets cost me $237.14. All of the trim, both the trim along all the floorboards and the trim that lines all the wood ceilings, cost me $670.96. My Tesla charger cost me $500, which, pro tip, if you're buying a Tesla charger or the NACS, North American Charging Standard charger, make sure to go on Facebook Marketplace. Tesla just ended their referral program, and a bunch of people had leftover referral points, and they ended up just purchasing a lot of these, so you can find them a lot cheaper than that. My second biggest expense was $16,464.17, and that is the 740 square foot deck. Now this deck is really what makes the Cedar Hollow, because it adds so much more outdoor space, and honestly, guests that stay here have mentioned they just spend the entire time on the deck. That price also does include all of the post and pier foundations, all the posts, all the framing, the joist tape that goes on top of all the floor joists, all the cedar decking, the sealer to seal the cedar decking. It was just a mass amount of lumber, concrete, anchors to get this whole thing put together, but I love how it looks. Then these cable railings cost me $10,271.15. What I love about these cable railings is that even when you're sitting inside the house or if you're walking on any of the pads out here, you can see through all these cables, especially at nighttime. It's like they're not even there. So it just makes you feel totally immersed with the forest. Here is my largest expense, coming in at $17,724.40. This thing is like the price of a car pretty much. But this is my jacuzzi 7-person hot tub. And you're gonna be like, wait, this is just a 2-person getaway. I know, 2-person hot tubs are just, they look kind of weird and I just didn't like them. So I figure why not go big or go home? And we went all out with this jacuzzi hot tub, which if I'm getting any more hot tubs moving forward for short-term rentals, these jacuzzi ones are so nice, both from a maintenance perspective and like the massaging in the tub. You have little selectors where you can change if the jets are aerated or not aerated. It's super bougie, but is it worth $17,000? I don't really know. I even got this tub at a discount because there was this little blemish right there and that knocked $4,000 off the purchase price. And then for $5,168.90, we have the Redwood Outdoors Cedar Barrel Cold Plunge. This thing is amazing. So there's a chiller that comes with it and it plugs into these 2 ports here and it can get the temperatures down to 34 degrees. It is nearly ice cold. Then for $7,917.80, we have the Redwood Outdoors Barrel Sauna, which this sauna is a guest favorite and my personal favorite. It just completes the spa-like features of this home, right? You got the cold plunge to jump back and forth in, you got the hot tub when you're just looking to relax, and the sauna when you're looking to sweat out all those impurities. This thing is amazing, plus the views on the inside are incredible. Then I have a couple 100 feet of string lights hanging all across the backyard area over the sauna for $421.35, which these string lights look so stinking cool, but you guys don't understand how hard I work to get these things up. Trying to get an extension ladder through all this to go climb that tree and screw it in while it was freezing cold in the winter was miserable. Then for $1,420.69 are all the outdoor seating, both here, the little side table, the fire pit itself, the actual basin, as well as all the chairs surrounding it. I also had one miscellaneous item in there for $837, which was just random tools that came up that I had to purchase, which with the Pacific bin, that number was like $20,000 because I didn't have any tools. But it was nice with this build that I had all the tools. How much does the Cedar Hollow cost to build? And that is $161,389.41, fully turnkey, ready to live in. That's a fully stocked kitchen, everything ready to go, which considering inflation and everything that's happened in the last couple of years, I am ecstatic with that price. That is incredible for what you're getting. Plus, if you were to back out all the fancy stuff, the expansive deck, the hot tub, the cold plunge, the sauna, all of that, it gets a total build cost for just the structure itself to $83,000, or a cost per square foot of $184. So the final part of this whole cost breakdown is how much is this home actually making as a full-time short-term rental here in Sultan, Washington. And these numbers are hot off the press. For March, it made $7,510, which the home was only partially rented out. I was having some creators come through the house, create some content, and really just blast this build out to the public. Then April, we came in a little bit higher at $8,644. May was a big month at $12,002. And then June, so far, that's when we're filming this, June is booked out for $15,603, which means in less than a year, this entire thing will have paid for itself. So if you guys are interested in purchasing the Cedar Hollow plans, it's the link at the top of the description down below. And don't forget to enter the code CEDAR60 to get 60% off. And that's only for the first 100 people that snag the plan. So I do want to thank you guys for liking this video, subscribing to my channel. And of course, I got to thank all of my channel members who help support me financially. I couldn't do it without you guys. So if you guys want to see me build this home exactly, showing you every little nitty gritty detail here, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.